Talk to me about, I mean, obviously, first question, the Caitlin Clark effect, right? We got to start there. We're going to give the softballs up early. How crazy was this season versus the seasons past?
It was crazy in all the good ways. So Caitlin Clark is an amazing person, first and foremost. You know, all the things that we appreciate about Hoosiers she brought with her from Indiana. So generous and kind, and just watching Caitlin off the court has been as much of a pleasure for me as watching her on the court, as you see her engage with kids and really giving herself to the future of sports for girls. And that's what she's dedicated to. So Caitlin, the person, is just amazing, and we're honored and humbled that she's now a Hoosier, and we're thrilled to have her here. On the court, you know, her game is second to none in the way that she plays, and she's surrounded by several great talented athletes in Indiana Fever. So we've been fortunate to attract some really great talented folks, women that now, you know, complement Caitlin's game. It's fun to watch, isn't it?
And they all make each other better, right? Like, this team was super fun to watch. It took a little bit to get going, I feel like, you know, growing pains, and especially, you know, when Caitlin coming from a national championship run, rolling directly into the full WNBA season. That's crazy. Yeah. I was like, I saw her at the Colts game maybe not too long ago, and I was like, somebody said get her a beverage and like let her just like hang out and chill for a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, talk to me. Like, are there like stats to measure just like how wild this season was? Like, I know the attendance for Fever games was off the charts, but like when you guys were dissecting just how big of an impact and how awesome of a run this past season was, like what were you using to measure there?
So we do a few things. On the business side, we can measure everything from ticket sales to fan engagement to merchandise sales. On the basketball side, we're going to measure wins and losses, but also just impact and progression of the game. So, you know, I give a lot of credit to our head coach, Christy Sides, and her team that put together a really good, brand new, young Fever basketball team. Our hope, you know, over the last 3 years, we had a plan that said this year, according to our plan, this year we would be in the playoffs. And the 8 top teams go into the playoffs. If our coach Sides could get us into the playoffs at spot 8, that would be success. She got us in at 6. And so that was success on the basketball side, and we're really proud of the work they did. It took time to gel and figure that out. That's not, you know, I come from business and nonprofit world. Same thing happens in corporate America. It takes you a while to figure out how to play to each other's strengths.
Yeah, it's like you get that Harvard MBA in there, and it's not like all of a sudden, all right, our profit and loss is fixed, right?
That's
it's like it takes a little time to get.
Of course.
And it's like I feel like culture-wise, you don't want to be the 22-year-old coming in there and, well, this is how we did things at Iowa. Like, now we're going to change everything. It's like, no, you got to like. You build the chemistry within the team.
That's right. And we had a veteran like Kelsey Mitchell, and then we had Lexi Hall, and then Aaliyah Boston. So we've had people who had played at the highest levels in college. They could relate to where Caitlin was coming from, and therefore I think all we had to do was give them a minute to connect with each other, and they did, and it showed on the court. But to your question about metrics, you know, we look at on the business side. Our jersey sales were up 1,193%. Like, that is unprecedented.
And okay, obviously, probably like largely fueled by Caitlin's jersey, but like, did more Leah Boston jerseys sell this year? Did more Erica Wheeler? Like, I love I know a little bit. I went to the season opener.
Great.
And I was like, okay, like obviously you see, like this is a team that is new to playing with each other, but it was super cool to see them all come together and like really figure and hit their stride through the stretch there.
Yeah, but let's unpack what you're talking about. It was the impact. It's unprecedented. The Caitlin Clark effect is real, and we're thrilled about it. But it brought visibility to the whole team of the Fever and to the WNBA. But if we just want to keep it in Indiana, you know, we look at ticket sales sold out every night, over 17,000 fans in our games at home. But even something as simple as our terrific mascot, Freddie Fever, his appearance requests went up 150% this season. So you talk about the Fever, the team, which is what we've been working on. You know, 5 years ago when I got this job, we put together a strategy, said commit, compete, and contribute. Those 3 C's will drive us to a championship culture. I couldn't guarantee a championship because that's not my job, but I could help create a culture that would lead to a championship win. So you've got to have the culture before you can have the win.
Did you come in, was it right after or before? Didn't they have a championship run back in like 2012?
Well, they won in
The runner-up.
2012, yes, and then yes, they did, and I came in 2019.
Okay,
so
yeah.
it had
So
been a while.
after that, because I actually that was my freshman year of college.
Okay.
And one of my buddies, his older brother worked for like Learfield or whatever, and they had like tickets to the game, and so we went to catch one of the games within the championship. It was a home game, and it was our first, like, we were at the WNBA finals.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa, man, college is sweet. Like, you just get to, like, because I went to DePaul, so we, like, drove
Yep.
the 50 minutes into town, or into
Yes.
Indianapolis, and it was wild. I do believe that, because did Minnesota win the whole
Yes.
thing in Indianapolis?
I think that's right.
I think I was at that, and it was like, oh, that's tough.
that's
But
right.
it's cool to see
Yep.
the whole, like, 2015, make it to the championship, then, like, I mean, some dog days in there, and then now kind of like a revitalization.
It's like any business model. You hit your peak, and then people retire, coaches retire, players retire. So then you just go into rebuild mode, which is not unusual if you come out of a business, background. And really in sports, it happens all the time. And so that was the wave we had to ride, and we had this wonderful group of fans who have been with the Fever all 25 seasons, many of them, and the new fans that said, let's come around this franchise and believe in them and be patient. And that's what they were. And so they rode the wave with us. And I'm very grateful to all of our fans.
Yeah. What were season ticket sales? Did they increase this year?
Oh, yes. Well, when Caitlin announced that she was coming out into the draft on a Thursday afternoon, from that time to Sunday night, we had over 6,000 phone calls, people wanting to buy season tickets.
How many season tickets do you offer?
Well, we had to get creative.
Yeah, like there were half seasons and like other stuff like that.
Packages. So we only sold full seasons, and then once we got all those folks accommodated, then we sold half seasons. So I mean, we had to
Awesome.
adapt. But our company, Pacer Sports and Entertainment, was ready for it, and that's the beauty of our company, working both Pacers and Fever. When something like this happened, we had a whole team around us to support and to be responsive to our fans.
When did it get on the radar? Like, what board meeting or wherever you guys sitting when you're like, hey, we could get Caitlin Clark? Like, when did that moment kind of like click?
Well, we knew our odds were good going into the draft lottery in December, but you don't know until you know. And then we knew we got the first pick in December, but we didn't know. So that's December. And the players in college don't have to declare until after their college season ends. So that could be anywhere between March and April. And so we waited, and Caitlin decided to announce before her season ended, and that's when it was all systems go.
And she kind of knew, right? Like, she knew that she'd be going to Indianapolis. So it's like,
Yes.
let's say she just didn't vibe. She's like, no, I want to be in LA, or I want to be in New York. Like, she could have been like, nah, I'm gonna take my NIL
That's
money.
right.
I'm gonna play another year
That's
in
right.
Iowa, like maybe win the national championship.
Yes.
So I think that speaks like volumes to the Fever organization.
Yes.
Because I mean, you've seen it before. Like Eli Manning, right? Back in the day, was like, nah, I don't want to play there. I'm just not going to do it, right? So I think that does speak a ton to your guys' organization and the Fever organization as a whole. That
Good.
like a blue chip. I don't want to say once in a lifetime, because I hope that more of these like come. Like there's other women coming up that are going to be like bigger and better than Caitlin Clark, right? But an awesome player says like, I want to go to Indy and I want to build something special in Indiana.
I think that's right. And it's a credit to, I hope, and I accept your compliment, I think it is a credit to the Fever franchise. I think it's a credit to Pacer Sports and Entertainment, but in addition to that, it's a credit to our city. And this was a place that Caitlin had spent time playing in the Big Ten tournament, and she'd been here. She had an understanding of it. So I think our city showed up in a way that would make it attractive to somebody, especially from Iowa, to say this is a place where you'll be comfortable. And so far, so good.